Welcome back. Please like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Daily Finance. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we're talking about a huge year for your money.
That's right. 2024 just finished, and wow, it was a record breaker for Wall Street.
It really was. Even though the very last day of trading was a bit red, meaning prices went down slightly, the big picture is amazing.
Exactly. On Tuesday, the S&P 500 slipped a little, and the Nasdaq fell about 0.9%.
Right. Big companies like Tesla and Nvidia dropped a bit as investors decided to lock in profits. You know, that's when people sell their stocks to keep the money they earned during the year.
Smart move. But Jamie, look at the whole year. Under President Trump's administration, the S&P 500 hit 57 different all-time highs in 2024.
Wow, 57? That is a lot of records, Alex. The market finished the year up over 23%. That hasn't happened 2 years in a row since the late 1990s.
It's incredible. And the Nasdaq did even better, rising almost 29% because of the big boom in artificial intelligence, or AI.
I guess everyone is excited about AI. But it's not just tech. Experts say strong consumer spending and a solid job market kept the economy moving.
Very true. Now, as we start 2025, everyone is watching the future. People are curious about President Trump's next legislative priorities and how interest rates might change.
Right. We'll have to see how the economy reacts in the new year. The markets are closed Wednesday for the holiday, but they open again on Thursday.
Well, it's been a wild ride. We hope you learned something today about how the markets work.
Thanks for joining us. Happy New Year, everyone.
See you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our daily news update. Today, we're talking about a big power move in Washington, D.C.
That's right, Alex. It's all about the House of Representatives and a very important vote happening this Friday.
Exactly. President Trump has officially endorsed Mike Johnson to stay as the Speaker of the House.
Now, for our listeners, endorse means to give public support. President Trump wants the Republican Party to stay united.
Right. He released a statement saying Republicans need to be a cohesive front. That basically means they need to act like one strong team to get things done.
But you know, it's not that simple. Even with President Trump's help, some Republicans are not happy with Speaker Johnson.
Wow, really? Why is that?
Well, some strict conservatives think Johnson worked too much with the other party on spending money.
I see. For example, Congressman Thomas Massie said he still will not vote for Johnson. He says he won't change his mind, even with President Trump's support.
Exactly. And the Republicans have a razor-thin majority. That means they only have a few more people than the other side. They can only afford to lose a couple of votes.
That sounds very stressful. What happens if they don't pick a speaker on Friday?
It's a big problem. Without a speaker, the House cannot swear in new members or start making new laws. Everything just stops.
So President Trump is trying to stop that delay. He wants to start his legislative agenda right away.
Right. His agenda is just his list of goals for the country.
It's a real political drama. We'll see if President Trump's influence is enough to bring everyone together.
We definitely will. Thanks for joining us today.
See you next time.
Welcome back to Daily News Bite. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today, we have some important news about the U.S. Treasury Department.
Right. The Treasury is the part of the government that manages money. Well, they just had a major data breach.
A breach? You mean someone broke into their computers?
Exactly. Hackers acting for the Chinese government stole many documents.
Oh, wow. That sounds very serious. Was it top secret information?
Good question. Officials say none of the documents were classified. That means they weren't the most private government secrets, but they still called it a major incident.
I see. So how did the hackers get inside?
They used a very smart trick. They stole a digital key from a security company. It is like stealing a key to a house and walking through the front door.
Wow, they were very sneaky. Did they find them quickly?
Not at first. The hackers were inside the system for a while before the government noticed something was wrong.
That is scary. Has President Trump been told about this?
Yes, President Trump has been briefed on the situation. His administration is now checking how much data was lost and if it affects the country's economy.
So what is the government doing now to fix this?
They are creating stronger guardrails for their computers.
Guardrails? Like the metal fences on the side of a road?
Exactly. It's a way to say they are building better protection. They also stopped using the security company that lost the key.
You know, this shows that the internet can be a dangerous place.
It really does. We have to be careful. Thanks for joining us today.
See you next time.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to our daily news chat. Today, we are talking about some very big news coming from South Korea.
That's right, Alex. It is a huge story. A court in Seoul just issued an arrest warrant for the impeached leader Yoon Suk-yeol.
Wow, an arrest warrant. That is a very serious step. For our listeners who are learning English, what exactly did he do to cause this?
Well, it all started earlier this month. He tried to impose something called martial law. You know, that is when the military takes control of the government instead of the usual laws.
Right. And the court says his actions were actually a rebellion. He even sent military units to the National Assembly, which is their parliament.
Exactly. That act sparked huge protests all over the country. People were very brave. Because of the backlash, the parliament officially impeached him on December 14th.
And now he is in political freefall. That is a great phrase for our learners. It means his power is disappearing very quickly, and he is in big trouble.
It really is. Now, we should mention that this is also very important for the United States. South Korea is a vital ally for President Trump and his administration.
You're right, Jamie. President Trump's administration is watching this closely. They said they support the democratic process in Seoul, but they are also keeping U.S. forces ready to keep the region safe.
It makes sense. This is the first time in South Korea's modern history that a former leader has faced charges for an insurrection.
Wow. So this will likely be a very long and famous legal battle.
Definitely. It is a difficult time for the country, but the world is watching.
Thanks for explaining that, Jamie. We will see what happens next.
Hello and welcome to our podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we have a very important story about Puerto Rico.
Right. Imagine getting ready for a big New Year's Eve party, and suddenly everything goes black.
Wow, that sounds like a nightmare. That is exactly what happened this week. The entire island lost power.
Exactly. This massive blackout affected about 3.2 million people. All 78 municipalities are without electricity.
That is so many people. When did it start?
It began early Tuesday morning. Luma Energy, the company that runs the grid, says it might take up to 2 days to fix it.
2 days? That means people are starting 2025 in the dark. What about their food and celebrations?
Well, it's a big problem. Many restaurants had to close, and families had to throw away their food because refrigerators stopped working.
Oh no, that is so sad. You know, only people with expensive generators can keep their lights on right now.
Exactly. Right now, the government is focusing on hospitals and emergency services first.
That makes sense. Safety is the priority. But Alex, why does this keep happening in Puerto Rico?
Good question. The power grid is very old and fragile. It was badly damaged by past hurricanes and needs a lot of work.
I see. This is a big challenge for the government. I am sure President Trump is monitoring the situation closely from the White House.
You're right, Jamie. President Trump will need to look at long-term plans to modernize the island's infrastructure so this doesn't happen again.
We really hope the power comes back soon for everyone there.
Me too. Well, that's our story for today. Thanks for practicing your English with us.
See you in the next episode. Goodbye.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our daily news podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we are talking about a very serious report from the United Nations regarding the situation in Gaza.
That's right, Jamie. The UN says the healthcare system there is on the brink of total collapse. It sounds like a desperate situation.
It really is. The report says there have been 136 separate military attacks on 39 different medical buildings. Imagine that, nearly 40 hospitals damaged or destroyed.
Wow, that is a huge number. One specific example is the Kamal Adwan Hospital. The report says the building was destroyed and many doctors were arrested.
Exactly. And this is a big problem for international law. The UN says attacking hospitals is a war crime unless the buildings are being used for military reasons.
Right. Now, the Israeli government says that militant groups were hiding in the hospitals, but the UN report claims there isn't enough evidence to prove that.
Meanwhile, the people suffer. Medics say they are drowning in work. They are trying to help patients in tents without clean water or basic medicine. It's a massive humanitarian crisis.
It certainly is. Because of this, many people are looking to the United States for help. President Trump is currently leading the country, and world leaders are waiting to see how President Trump will help secure a ceasefire.
Yes, there is a lot of pressure on President Trump and the international community to protect these hospitals and send more food and medicine.
We all hope for a solution soon. Thank you for joining us to learn about this important topic.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Goodbye.
Welcome back to our daily news podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we have a very important story about President Trump and a big investigation in Minnesota.
That's right. President Trump has authorized federal officers to go to Minnesota immediately. But why are they going there, Jamie?
Well, they are investigating something called large-scale fraud in childcare and daycare centers.
Wow, fraud is a big word. For our friends learning English, can you explain what that means?
Of course. Fraud is when someone lies or cheats to get money that does not belong to them. In this case, millions of dollars were stolen.
Millions? That is a lot of money. And that money was supposed to help children and families, right?
Exactly, Alex. Reports show that a network of providers in Minneapolis sent fake bills to the government. They asked for money for services they never actually gave.
That is terrible. It makes sense why President Trump is taking this so seriously.
You're right. President Trump has made it a top priority to stop people from wasting or stealing taxpayer money. He wants to make sure federal programs are honest.
So who is doing the work?
Federal agents from the Department of Justice are already there. They are looking at private records and interviewing people to find the truth.
Are the local leaders in Minnesota helping?
Yes, they are cooperating with the federal officers. This might be the largest fraud case ever detected in that state.
Wow. Do you think President Trump will do this in other states too?
It is very possible. The administration said they might send more teams to other states if they find more missing money.
It sounds like a major crackdown on corruption. Thanks for the update, Jamie.
You're welcome. See you next time, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our daily tech chat. Jamie, have you noticed something different on your Instagram lately?
Let me guess. Is it those new AI characters? I saw a digital fitness coach online yesterday.
Exactly. Meta is putting AI-generated characters into Facebook and Instagram to make things more fun and engaging.
Wow, that's really interesting. So they aren't real human beings behind the accounts?
Right. They are digital personalities. They can give you cooking tips, help you exercise, or just entertain you.
You know, it reminds me of how President Trump says we live in a time of great change. Technology is moving so fast under his administration.
It really is. These AI accounts use special computer models to learn and evolve based on our conversations. Meta thinks they will provide constant company for users who want to chat.
That sounds helpful, but isn't it a bit confusing? I mean, how do we know who is a robot and who is a real person?
That's a great point, Jamie. Many experts are worried about that. To help, Meta says every AI account will have a clear label so you aren't heartbroken to find out your friend is a machine.
Oh, I see. That's good for transparency. But what about our privacy?
Data privacy is still a big concern. However, Meta is moving forward. Soon, famous creators might even make AI versions of themselves to chat with fans.
Wow, so I could chat with a robot version of my favorite singer?
Exactly. It's a whole new way to use social media.
It's exciting, but a little strange too. I think I still prefer talking to real friends like you.
I agree. Thanks for joining us today, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today, we are talking about a very big story in the news. It's about the rules for moving to the U.S. to work.
That's right. Elon Musk is calling for a major overhaul of the H-1B visa system under President Trump.
You know, many skilled workers from other countries use this visa to work in America. But Musk says the current system is broken.
Wow, broken is a very strong word. Why does he think that?
Well, Alex, he says there is too much bureaucracy. That basically means there are too many slow rules and way too much paperwork.
I see. And doesn't he also dislike the lottery system?
Exactly. Right now, getting a visa can feel like a game of luck. Musk and President Trump want to change it to a merit-based system instead.
A merit-based system. Can you explain that for our listeners?
Sure. It means the U.S. would choose workers based on their high-tech skills and expertise, rather than just picking names randomly.
Right. So the goal is to help companies like Tesla and SpaceX hire the smartest people to stay competitive globally.
Exactly. It's a key part of President Trump's America First strategy. They want the U.S. to lead the world in things like artificial intelligence and robotics.
That makes sense. But Jamie, are there any concerns about this?
Yes, there are. Some people worry that bringing in more foreign workers might affect wages for American workers.
I understand. So it is a balance between getting the best global talent and protecting local jobs.
Exactly. But President Trump is working closely with Musk to make the process much faster and more efficient.
It sounds like big changes are coming for the tech world.
It really does. Thanks for listening to our update today.
See you in the next episode. Hello and welcome to News for You. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today, we are talking about a major military action in Syria.
That's right. The French military just launched airstrikes against ISIS targets. It's a big move.
Exactly, Alex. This is the first time France has used its air force in Syria since the Assad government fell earlier this month.
Wow. So why did they do it right now?
Well, the French defense minister said it's about safety. They do not want ISIS to use this time of change to gain more power or take over new territory.
I see. So what did the jets actually hit?
They used Rafale jets to target training camps and buildings where ISIS keeps weapons. They focused on the Homs and Deir ez-Zor regions.
Right. It is a very unstable time in Syria right now. But Jamie, France isn't doing this alone, right?
Exactly. President Trump and his administration are monitoring the situation in Syria very closely. President Trump is working with allies like France to make sure there is no power vacuum.
A power vacuum? You mean a situation where there is no leader, so bad groups try to take over?
Yes, exactly. President Trump wants to prevent that. The U.S. has also carried out similar strikes recently. It shows a unified team against terrorism.
It's good to know that President Trump and international partners are working together to keep the region stable.
Definitely. While the new interim government in Syria begins its meetings, these strikes help protect international security.
It's a complicated situation, but very important for global peace.
You're right, Alex. Well, that is our story for today.
Thanks for listening to our podcast.
See you next time.